Happy Camper Radio starts in 3, 2, 1. Happy 4th of July weekend to each and every one of you. I'm Skip. I am a happy camper, and this is the Happy Camper Radio Show, episode 151. And wherever you may be this weekend, I hope you're getting an early start. You know, a lot of folks leaving out early and coming back late. I love these 3-day weekends. You know, as I talked about last week on the show, Memorial Day just came and gone. It was here and gone so quick, and next thing you know, 4th of July is here. And 4th of July this year is on a Monday, which means some folks are going to be leaving out Thursday and coming back Monday night. A 5-day weekend. Wow. Wouldn't it be nice if each and every weekend was just like that? I'd be doing more camping than I could shake a stick at. But anyway, that's the way it goes. A lot of folks are going to be out on the road, so if you're traveling this weekend, please allow yourself plenty of time. Get plenty of rest before you go. You don't want to go exhausted. You don't want to arrive at the campground exhausted. You don't want to take in all the weekend festivities exhausted. Take some time, spend it with the family. Live life to its absolute fullest. You'll enjoy it. Our phone number here at the Happy Camper Radio is 404-537-CAMP. That's 404-537-2267. You can like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter at Camp Talker, add us to Circles on Google+, and, of course, subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can go to www.happycamperradio.com, find all of our social media icons right there on the homepage. Click on any one of them, connect up with us, sign up with us, and when you do that, you'll automatically be placed inside the shout-out window. And that means I'm going to go there right now and recognize some folks who signed up with us this past week on social media. First of all, to Tom Langland of Richmond, Texas, James Kyson of Los Angeles, California. They both like us on Facebook. And also to Colby Muncie of Jasper, Tennessee, and the fine folks over at Airstream Brand Merchandise. They all like us on Twitter. Thank you all so very much for joining us. Glad to have you on board. And just as importantly, thank you for being a part of this great Happy Camper Radio family. The Great American Backyard Campout, have you already signed up? Have you taken the pledge? If you're getting ready to head out the door, do it right now, because the Great American Campout is this weekend, this Saturday, June the 25th. You can sign up anytime between now and then and have your pledge count. It's very easy to do. If you go to our Happy Camper Radio website, that's happycamperradio.com. I've got the information right there on the homepage, including a link to the Great American Campout, as well as a link to the pledge form. Just go ahead and click on any one of those. You can fill the pledge out. Very simple to do. We want your pledge to count. All the money that is being raised for the Great American Campout 2016 is going to benefit wildlife. It doesn't cost you a dime. All you have to do is make the pledge to go camping. It doesn't matter where you go camping. It could be in your backyard. It could be at a public or private campground. It could be deep inside the forest if you like venturing out there. Just take that pledge. That's all you have to do. I love this program. I love beefing it up each and every year. I've taken my pledge. I hope you will do the same. If the weather is ugly this weekend, and let's face facts, in some portions of the country, it's going to be just that. Unfortunately, some people are going to get rained out. We don't like to talk about it. We don't like to think about it. But that's the only real obstacle that we have standing in our way anytime we make a commitment to go camping. Some of these reservations, some of these commitments we make months in advance, and all we can really do is hope for the best. So, you know, if you're in one of these situations where you're planning on going away this weekend, you're planning on taking in a lot of the 4th of July events, and including some firework displays, and you end up getting rained out, well, you're going to have to take a rain check. That's just the way it is. And believe me, as a youngster growing up, I had a few disappointing moments myself that I had to live through. But, you know, we get through it. We do. And, you know, we just make plans to go on another camping trip another day. We just try to take in some indoor activities. And, you know, so we make something of the weekend anyway. But hopefully it's going to be a picture-perfect weekend wherever you are this weekend. Take that pledge once again, the Great American Campout 2016. The links are right there on our homepage at happycamperradio.com. Go ahead and do that and be a part of something very, very special. I want to go right now, before I do anything, to the Happy Camper Radio mailbag, because I had one of our listeners write in this week, and this was a very good question that he dropped by me. Bryant writes to us, and he says, hope you're enjoying the year. I have a couple questions regarding camping during the summer. What would you recommend on staying cool in the tent? We have a 6-man tent with 2 adults and 2 kids. We will be staying in Sequoia in July. Well, Bryant, I'll tell you something. The summertime, the late spring, and the summertime temperatures, they can be brutal. First and foremost, what I would like you to do, make sure that you have plenty of fluids on hand, plenty of liquids, bottled water. If you want to carry one of those big 5-gallon jugs and fill it up with Gatorade and keep it handy, keep it on ice, just make sure that you have plenty of fluids available for you and the family. Okay, just in the event, it's time to refresh yourself. You don't want to make that difficult. You don't want to have to be running down to the campground convenience store each and every time you need to get a drink, or to the bathhouse where there's a water fountain. Make sure you have plenty of fluids right there on hand, because the last thing we want anybody to do on a camping trip is end up getting dehydrated. If at all possible, if you haven't already gone online to choose the site that you think is suitable for you, and you arrive at the campground and you're going to pick a site there, provided there's room, however, you want to choose a site that has a lot of shade to it. This is one of the first things I look for anytime I go online and choose a campsite. Yes, I like being by the lake. I like having a lakeside view. I don't necessarily have to be right on the lake, but, if possible, I want to be, under some trees somewhere. So when that sun is right above me midday, I'm not having that sun beating down on top of my tent and causing the temperatures inside to be brutal, because every now and then, yes, I do want to take a nap. And I would hate going on inside the tent and having temperatures so unbearable that I just have to get out. Now, unless privacy is a big concern, it never hurts at night to unzip your tent and allow the cool air to pass through there. I usually zip my tent windows down halfway, just so I have some cool air coming in there at nighttime. In the wintertime, that's a totally different story. We're not going to talk about that right now. But here's something else you might want to consider, too. If you're in one of these situations where you've been camping and, you're having problem with the summer temperatures, they do make these small battery-operated fans that you can hang from the highest point in your tent to help circulate the air. Now, keep in mind, I've never used one before, but the more and more I browse through some of the online catalogs, I'm starting to see these little fans. But if you're interested in getting one of these, consider going online. Go to the Happy Camper Radio website there, and we are an affiliate of Gander Mountain. You go ahead and click on that and browse through their catalog. If you find one in there, or just about anything in the world of camping, you can buy it right online. And keep in mind, too, that anytime you make an online purchase at Gander Mountain using Happy Camper Radio's website, you're helping to support this wonderful radio program. Bryant, thank you so very much for writing into the program. I hope you and the family have a wonderful time this July in Sequoia. Okay, the 4th of July is here. A couple days away anyway, but, some of you are starting out early. I like that. Take in all the 4th of July activities you possibly can take in this time of year. I know you're going to camp. There's going to be a lot of people out. Most likely, if you're going to a public and private campground this weekend, you're going to find all of the places jam-packed. You're going to have a lot of campers. And I'm not saying that in a bad way, because there are a lot of campers that come out and a lot of folks that are there to have fun just like you. And chances are you're going to meet some really wonderful people if you just meet them for one time in your life. That's one of the neat things about going camping, is the fact you're going to meet people just like you who share something in common. A great way for kids to make new friends. If you're going out this weekend, by all means, take some time to show your patriotism. Attach American flags to your vehicles, to your RVs. Let people know that you're proud to be an American. Fly the American flag at camp. Something else you may want to consider too, if you haven't already packed it away in your suitcase, wear your patriotic clothing. If you got red, white, and blue, why not put it on? People have their T-shirts with the flags on them, and that's all showing your spirit. That's all showing your 4th of July spirit. Definitely go out there and do that. If you want to go a step further, hey, Mom, why don't you go ahead and pack away some patriotic baked goods? If you need to stop on the way to the grocery store and pick up some last-minute things, you're always going to need some things at camp, like cupcakes and baked goods. Chances are you're going to find some red, white, and blue cupcakes right there in the bakery aisle. Why not pick them up and take time to help celebrate the spirit of the 4th of July right there at your campsite? Any little thing you do is going to help. If you're planning on going to some of the parades and some of the activities that may be going on in the area that you may be camping in, carry your handheld American flags with you. A lot of folks have already taken the time to go out to the store and buy some of these items. They're great to have on the weekend of the 4th of July. I've got some here at the house, and definitely they're going to be on display. In fact, I have a permanent flag right outside my residence that flies 24/7. Yes, because we are very proud to be living in the country that we live in. So make sure you carry your American flags to your parades or any activities that you may be going to where there are going to be some 4th of July activities. Another thing you want to consider, too, visit a fireworks display. I think that goes without saying. In fact, the kids are probably already driving you nuts over this. If you're going to be going out this weekend, I don't care if it's close to home, I don't care if it's far away from home, chances are there is going to be a professional firework display somewhere in the area that you're going to be staying. Most likely, you've already looked it up on the map. If you have not, when you get to the campground or wherever you're camping, check in with the campground host, check in with the front office, and they'll be able to tell you where the nearest firework display is going to be. Now, here's another thing I want you to keep in mind, too, because, sometimes we don't think about these things at the last minute. I have been on many camping trips with the kids. I've been on many camping trips with the nieces and nephews and the family, and you've got to do all the planning. You've got a lot on your mind. Make sure that you carry plenty of refreshments with you to the site where the fireworks are going to be displayed, because you're going to want to get there early, and you're going to want to get a good seat. And chances are you're not going to be too far away from the restroom facility, because the kids and, of course, you and Mom and everybody else that may be with you, on occasion while you're there, are going to have to go. But the fact is, you want to get yourself into place and get a good position to take in those fireworks. Lay out the blanket, bring a picnic lunch with you if you need to, your lawn chairs if they allow that on the field where you're going to be. Make sure you have all of that handy, because you're going to be there for a while. You want to plan to arrive early, and you've got to pack away plenty of patience. I know the firework displays close by here. Yes, people get out very, very early, and I'm not talking the folks who go camping. I'm talking about people who are just out there to see the 4th of July fireworks display. They arrive very early. They take up plenty of space on the lawn. And you got to also remember, too, folks, that there's going to be a chance of rain, and you better be prepared to take a rain check if necessary. And you're going to have plenty of disappointed kids as well. But again, that's Mother Nature, and that's what we play around with anytime that we plan a camping trip or anytime we plan on attending any kind of outdoor event. If rain gets in the way, it's going to put a damper on everything else. So take the time to enjoy the 4th of July, do your research, and, folks, it pays to research. I talked about this last week on the show as well. It pays to do your research ahead of time to find some of the best camping locations you could possibly visit. And I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. Just this morning, I sat down and said, wow, if I were going to go camping someplace different, and it was going to be the 4th of July, where possibly would I want to go to get the absolute best experience I've ever had in my life? And I'm just going to show you one example of what internet research can do for you. I found a wonderful place to enjoy the 4th of July, and you may catch me there next year at this time, because I'm very seriously thinking about going. I know a lot can happen between now and next year, but if at all possible, consider Gatlinburg, Tennessee. I have been to Gatlinburg once before, and unfortunately, I was not camping at that particular time. The kids were, too small to actually sleep inside of a tent. They were very, very young. Now, I'm going to go back many, many, many years now. But the fact is, we went to Gatlinburg and we had the time of our life. It wasn't on the 4th of July, however. We just went up there for, a late summer visit, and I faintly remember some of the activities and things we did while we were there. But on the 4th of July, however, this year, 2016, they have the 41st annual 4th of July Midnight Parade. You heard that right. It kicks off in the heart of town at 12:01 a.m. on the 4th of July. You think that's crazy? I think that's neat. I think that's awesome. You have to switch your schedule around while you're camping a little bit. Maybe you take a nap in the early evening hours to get up and get into town. Just like anything else, you're going to have to, definitely get there and get a place. But the actual parade starts at 12:01 a.m. on the 4th of July. This has been garnered by National Geographic's Travel magazine as one of 5 best 4th of July celebrations in smaller cities. They've been doing this for a while. And this year, festivities are going to actually start off on a Sunday because 4th of July is on a Monday. But Sunday, right around noontime, they're going to go ahead and kick things off with the 100th Army Band of Fort Knox. And that'll kick off the festivities on Sunday afternoon. They've got some bands that are going to be playing, and this will all lead up to the Midnight Parade on the 4th of July at 12:01 a.m. Plenty of camping destinations in the area, too. Lots to see and do in the Gatlinburg area. Just go ahead and do your research online, like I say. I'm sure you'll find some other locations just like this all across the country. Maybe somewhere closer to you, so you don't have to travel so far. See, if you're out on the West Coast, I know getting over here to Gatlinburg, that's going to be a long haul. But you just never know. If you're going to be camping in this area around the 4th of July and you're going to plan on it several months ahead of time, go ahead and do some research. Pick out one of those great camping destinations in the Gatlinburg area and make your plans to be there for the 42nd annual 4th of July Midnight Parade. I just might go there myself next year. Sounds very exciting. Now, if you're planning on going out to the beach or the pool this 4th of July, I want you to take some extra precaution, folks. And I say this for a number of reasons. We know that kids love to go swimming. Boating is also a great form of relaxation, and kids are going to love both of it. As parents, we need to remain focused on our kids. We know that we would never allow our kids to swim alone. If we're going to go to the beach, we are going to be there with them. If we're going to go to the swimming pool, if they're going to go to the swimming pool, we're going to be there with them. We're going to keep our eye on them, whether they have lifeguards there or not. You don't want to go to a place that has swim at your own risk and say, okay, tell you what, kids, be back at camp in about 3 hours. No, you're not going to do that. The kids are very anxious. They want to get out there. They want to have fun. You don't want to deprive them of that fun. But at the same time, you want to be focused on their safety. Educate your children around water. Does your child know how to swim? That does not give them a free ticket to swim by themselves. If they're going to be going with some friends, you lay the groundwork, okay? You lay the rules down. If for some reason you're not going to be there and you're going to put their safety in the hands of a trustworthy adult, you make sure that you tell them the time that they have to be back and don't allow them to stay out any longer than that. I get real funny when my kids were around water. I just had to be there all the time. You can't take your eyes off them for a moment. Here in Georgia, for example, and I'm going to tell you why I bring this up, we have Lake Sidney Lanier and Lake Allatoona, both very large lakes. They offer swimming, they offer boating, and anytime there's nice weather in the summertime, you can count on a lot of activity on those lakes. Anything can happen. I'm talking people not swimming in designated areas, horseplay, boating accidents, and folks, even at nighttime. People are on the lake at night, and we have had some bad stories end up on the news about people who go boating at night and end up crashing into another boat. Some of these boating accidents involve BUI, and that stands for boating under the influence. Just as serious as driving under the influence. People do it. And a person behind the wheel of a watercraft is just as dangerous as a person behind the wheel of an automobile going down the highway if they are under the influence of alcohol or drugs. And the penalties here in this state, I know, are very, very severe. But I can recall, and it makes me want to bring this up a lot anytime we're talking about summertime activities, camping, and water sports. Anytime you're out on the water, and things can go very wrong. Hardly a summer goes by that I don't hear of some tragedy on either Lake Lanier or Lake Allatoona. We've already had a couple this summer already. I don't know much about the situation. I don't know about the individuals involved. I know we have had in the past some people who were there for a fun time in the afternoon, and something tragic happens. These things can and do happen, folks. We don't want nothing bad to happen to your kids. When you're going out to have fun on the 4th of July or going out to have fun anytime, camping or not, you want to come back in one piece, and all you want to bring back with you are memories. So keep that in mind. If any time that you're going out and there's water involved, whether it's the lake or the swimming pool, keep your guard up. Be aware of everything that's going on, especially with your kids. If for some reason your kids come up missing, it's dinner time or they've been out and about and you don't know where they are and you have to go out looking for them, the lake or the swimming pool is one of the very first places you want to check. Hopefully they're not too far away. Maybe they've just met up with some friends there at the campground and they went out and took a walk somewhere. It's always important to set limits, let your kids know that they have to check in with you if they're going to venture away. If your child does not know how to swim, make sure that they have a properly fitted life jacket and they're wearing it at all times. You know what your kids' capabilities are in the water, and you don't want to deprive them of having that fun in the water. And if they don't know how to swim, I would expect mom or dad to be right there with them. Keep in mind that beach balls and other inflatable items that you may purchase at your local Walmart or sporting goods store are not considered life jackets. So if you're trying to save money, that's not the way to do it. Make sure that your child has a properly fitted life jacket if they plan on being in the water at any given time. Enough on that, but one other thing I do want to touch on here for the 4th of July before I let you go out and have all the fun in the world for the next 4 or 5 days. Watch those consumer fireworks, folks. Fireworks are dangerous. If you happen to be venturing out of state where fireworks are legally purchased and you plan on bringing them back home to your state where fireworks are prohibited, you're doing that at your own risk because a number of bad things can happen. If you bring them on home and somebody gets hurt, you're going to wind up in the emergency room, or if you set off one of them loud fireworks and someone calls the police, you may be getting a ticket or going to jail. I have always said, especially when you're going away on a camping trip, leave the fireworks to the professionals. Let them handle it. You sit back and have a wonderful time. And keep this in mind also. If you by chance purchase some fireworks before you arrive at camp with the intentions of bringing them to camp and setting them off, you may be out of luck there too, because most campgrounds, if not all, are going to prohibit the discharge of fireworks on their property. Just because they happen to be legal in the state you purchased them in does not give you the right to take them to camp and set them off. The campground are going to set their own rules. It's their property. And I know it's the 4th of July, and I know you like fireworks and sprinklers and all this other stuff that go along with the 4th of July, but that may not be permitted right there at the campsite. Here in Georgia, just last year, they changed the law where you can now legally purchase fireworks. It used to be the only thing you could buy are these little snakes that, whatever you want to call them, you light them up and they just kind of all over the place, and sparklers and what have you, but that was the extent of it. You couldn't have firecrackers. You couldn't have these things which are real dangerous called M80s. You couldn't have these rockets that shoot up in the air and explode like the ones that you see at the professional performances. But as of last year, the law had changed, and now here in the state of Georgia, you can purchase those. And I'll tell you why they went ahead and changed the law. And I can't say I'm totally in favor of it, but it seems to be that every state surrounding Georgia, you could buy those type of fireworks because they were legal in those states. And you had more people leaving the state of Georgia to go into other places to buy fireworks and bring them back home. It was just really getting out of control. Well, the state of Georgia, just like any other government, they're looking at tax revenues, looking at the money that could be brought into the state if they went ahead and allowed the sale of fireworks here. They went ahead and passed that law. And as of last year, I think it was June 1st of 2014, the law went into effect. People started swarming to these new stores that popped up all over the place, and they were buying these big fireworks. And on the 4th of July, you thought this was a war zone in the neighborhood that you were living in. My neighborhood in particular, they were all over the place. And even then, the police were just flying up and down here because there were so many complaints. And you don't want to be setting these type of fireworks off at the campground that you may be camping in. It's time now for our featured campground of the week here on the Happy Camper Radio Show. This week, we're going to venture out west to the state of Oregon to the Fish Lake Campground. You wonder why they call it that? I think that goes without saying. The Fish Lake Campground is a remote and picturesque site in the midst of the old growth forest adjacent to Fish Lake, offering some of the best fishing in the area. If you're an angler, you definitely want to bring your rod and reel. Do your research ahead of time and make sure you have the proper out-of-state license if you are not from the state of Oregon. A boat launch for the Fish Lake, which requires a 10-mile-per-hour motor, nothing bigger than that, is within the campground, and many amenities are offered nearby Fish Lake Resort. They've got a lot of activities and amenities right there on their website. In fact, a ton of them. I'm not going to go through them all, but they are a pet-friendly campground, and I love those type of campgrounds where you can bring your pet right along with you. Pets are a member of our family. Okay, this large campground contains quiet and secluded campsites to accommodate groups, families, and individuals. Many sites are large enough to accommodate RVs and trailers, but cannot accommodate RV hookups at this time. So keep that in mind. If you're looking for some of those extra amenities, you're not going to find them at this campground if you happen to be bringing a motorhome or one of those fifth wheels or something you plan on connecting the hookups to. They just don't have it. Drinking water and flush toilets and water basins are provided, as well as fish cleaning stations, picnic tables and grills. Firewood's available for purchase at the campground host site. I'll have it on our website, happycamperradio.com, all week long. If you want to check it out, a whole lot of information there, but it's a great place to visit if you happen to be in the state of Oregon or happen to be visiting sometime soon. Their campground is open all the way through October 15th of 2016. Consider Fish Lake Campground. It is our featured campground of the week here on the Happy Camper Radio Show. And, of course, if you have a campground that you would like for us to feature on the program, I want you to get in touch with me, Skip, SKIP, at happycamperradio.com, and make sure you include a link to the campground website. Well, whatever you're doing this 4th of July weekend, have the time of your life, whether you're spending it around home, out on the road. Just make sure that if you are traveling, there's a lot of people that are going to be out there traveling right beside you. Take your time. Think for the other driver. Keep your eyes on the road. Arrive safely. Return home safely. That's more important than anything else you'll ever do. Remember, folks, every pet deserves a loving home. I want you to do what I did. Visit your local shelter and adopt a pet today. You can find us online anytime, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at www.happycamperradio.com. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter at Camp Talker. Add us to Circles on Google+. And, of course, subscribe to our YouTube channel. The Happy Camper Radio Show is a presentation of Skip Huber Productions. I'm Skip. I am a happy camper. And you, my friends, are going to be a happy camper, too. Catch you next week. You're listening to Happy